Well, you've heard me say it several times on this program, 2 seasons in Saskatchewan, winter and road repair. We are now well into the latter. My next guest is going to get himself a first-hand look at the roadways in the province. Minister of Highways, David Marit, is with me this morning. David, thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me on, Daryl. I really appreciate it.
Let's talk about the tour. Why are you taking this tour?
Well, I felt it was an opportunity for me to obviously see the province, and I've traveled it extensively over my career, but I wanted to reach out to my colleagues and say, you know what, I want you to meet with communities in your constituency and let's sit down and have a discussion about what the priorities are. What is a highway priority, 1 or 2, and have that discussion about that. Because what I'm really trying to do, even within the Ministry of Highways, and the ministry officials are really are working on that, is can we get into a 3 or 5 year plan so that we can start having where we want to go, have those projects sitting on the shelf, so when budget cycle comes around or whatever the opportunity comes, we can pull those off the shelf. And what I wanted to do is reach out with the communities and the municipal leaders as well, because when we're doing a highway project up there, we see an opportunity to work with the city, whether it's our town, whether it's Cudworth or Melfort or Norquay or wherever I've been in the last little while, just to say, look, we're going to be doing a highway project here. Would you and the community be, wanting to do maybe some paving within your community, or you want to do that? So it gives them some time. So if we got a 2-year or 3-year lag time, it gives them that opportunity to say, you know what, we do want to do our Main Street, we do want to do this, but we got to replace the infrastructure underneath. So it gives them some time. And then it also brings in some cost efficiencies for them. So when the contractor's there, it's easier for them to negotiate a deal on getting some work done. It's just all about communicating, working together, and talking about other issues as well, whether it's safety issues, it's signing issues, road access issues, turning lanes, all of that.
Now, you've been to Tisdale, Cudworth, Norquay, Prince Albert on this tour so far. What are you hearing from these communities? Well,
I'm hearing some opportunities. I really am, and probably the biggest thing I'm seeing is growth, and how we're managing growth and how we're doing it. Because obviously, when you're building facilities like in Melfort, if you want to see some massive development going on Highway 41, just right at Melfort, so how do we make sure that everybody's going to be safe at intersections? Do we put turning lanes in? How do we work with community? How do we work with the business community that's doing it? Do we do an access road? Where do we make the access point? Things like that. So that's kind of what it's all about. I met with the community of Warman last week, and the rural municipality of Corman Park and Ulster and all of them. With all the
growing community in Saskatchewan.
Fastest growing. 25,000 people between Warman and Martensville commuting one way or another. Either they're commuting into the city, or the city's coming out there to go to work in the industrial park as well too. So how do we communicate and make sure we have safe intersections and make sure that we can accommodate the growth that's coming?
How do you manage the cost with all the uncertainty right now?
That's exactly right, and that's the challenge you have with it. How do we prioritize what we want to do? And that's kind of why I'm doing this, to say, okay, what are some real important needs that are needed here? Good example, I was up in Norquay and talking to the folks there too on that highway. They're seeing obviously growth on that whole corridor. So how do we negotiate and how do we work that? How do we prioritize that with where highways is and things like that? So what I want to do is, that's why I'm doing the tour, to see, okay, what are their priorities, and then bring it back, and we'll overlay where we are at highways and some of the priorities that we've had going forward over the next couple of years.
And how do you make everybody happy?
You can't, you can't, and you just got to be able to communicate with them, say, look, we can't do it this year, we can't do it next year, but maybe we can do it in the 3rd year. And say, okay, what do we have to do to mitigate any risk and challenges in between that? And the communication with the communities.
How do you rank them, the projects? Is it by state of disrepair?
There's that. There's obviously safety, the economic impact as well, but also the amount of traffic volume as well is what we're seeing. But safety is number 1, and then making sure we try and accommodate that. And that's where we're really trying to work together to say, okay, and a good example, I met with the community, well, we met with Warman, and they're all sitting around the table saying, we need an overpass. Well, it's easy to say you need one, and it probably is the right thing, but where? How can you put it in the right spot to make sure it accommodates everything, and how does it impact other infrastructure around there as well?
Well, let's get you out of this studio and back on the road for your next stops in Lloydminster and so forth and so on. Thank you so much for a couple of minutes today.
Thanks a lot, Daryl, for having me on. I appreciate it.
David Marit is the Minister of Highways.